Hey, how's it going everybody? My name is VB, welcome to the channel. And I ain't gonna lie, I haven't really been able to post this video for a while because I have had a lot of mixed feelings and a lot of information bugging around me. And I had to really try to sort through all this to make sure that I'm getting everything accurate and to make sure that I actually believe in what I'm talking about here. So, sorry that it took a while. I will have gotten this done like probably days ago. Because let's be honest here. My situation right now is not doing too well. I ain't doing too great, okay? I am currently living in dumpsters right now. Living in the dumps. So currently kinda going through the shit in the ringer right now. So I had to kinda get myself situated before I can make this video, okay? My bad. And honestly, it was kind of a struggle for me because for the longest time, I didn't really care much about this topic. And it's, as you can see from the title, it's for the election and for Donald Trump winning that. Now, to rip it off like a band-aid, I was going to really just throw my vote into the independent slot because I felt like I didn't really do too much into researching it. And I didn't feel like I was confident in who I was voting for. It was kind of a toss-up for me. So my ballot was going to go straight into independent as soon as I got to the booth. But I decided to do a little bit of research a few months before that. And my vote kind of got swayed in favor of Trump. And the whole point of this video, and trust me, I have literally tried to do this video multiple times because my brain don't fucking work too well, okay? I'm going to explain why I voted for Trump and why I feel like a lot of other Americans did so as well. So for starters, I just want to gloss over his whole domestic policy, trying to make sure that Americans are getting the jobs that they need, and what he wants to do to make sure that America is self-sufficient. First thing that he's doing is he's going to be expanding oil all across the US waters, okay? He's going to start making people drill more into fossil fuels. That'll decrease the amount of need for trying to get it from other countries. And it will also decrease gas prices here in the US once those productions start happening. So that's a big one for me and for a lot of Americans. Trust me, it is actually a pretty good idea at the moment. Because currently right now, for me, I think that green energy production is kind of like lackluster at the moment. So if we kept pushing for green energy, pushing to try to make that technology kind of like nationwide, it's not going to be as efficient as good old fossil fuels right now because it's undercooked. Right now, the amount of effort and maintenance needed to get green energy right now, it needs more time to be developed. It needs more time to actually be as efficient as fossil fuels. So that was one thing that Trump had that I really vied with. Kind of need those prices to like drop down a little bit, okay? Second of all, the abortion thing. Kind of controversial, I understand that. Completely, wholeheartedly understand why people are freaking out about abortion and why they think Trump's going to ban it. But if you look deep into it, he wants the power of the states to be able to decide for people, not the federal government. If people play it right into the hands of their states, if they elect their right representatives, they'll allow abortion. They will allow people to have the right to choose. If they choose the right people to be put into office, I think that's a good idea. I don't think the federal government should have a say in a woman's choice in what they should do with their body. If they really want the decision from themselves, vote for the people in your individual state so that way you're allowed to have that abortion or not. And if it's not, you can go to another state that will allow it. Do I see kind of a loophole in this? Yeah, I do kind of see that it's not a foolproof plan. I mean, if you have a clump of states that decide not to have that implemented, then that's going to suck a little bit more for the person that needs it, because now they're going to have to travel multiple state borders to get that abortion. I'm not blind to that. But if we're talking about a individual person's right to choose, this is going to be the part where this is why we can't have the federal government be the last decision maker for this, because it has to go to the people. We just let the federal government say what we can and cannot do all the time. Guess what? That's going to cause a lot more problems later down the line. So this is kind of a good thing, even though people are panicking about it. Another thing that I agree with Trump, he's going to have people that are going to look into the FDA into trying to make sure that our foods are going to be a lot healthier. Why the fuck does a United Nations country have like only 3 ingredients for their products? And when we look at ours, we have 18 different chemicals that'll kill us, that are eventually making us fatter and unhealthy. I mean, we live in a country where we have so much medical care and so much money pumped into making like pharmaceutical medicine and making things better. Next thing you know it, you look at the American people and they're getting obese, they're getting health risks and making them feel like actual garbage, which we kind of are, to be honest with you. I ain't gonna lie, America is kind of garbage. But it's just like, come on. It's kind of unfair how companies are getting away with this. And we look at other nations and looking at other countries, and they are relatively more healthy, even though their country doesn't spend as much into medical care. It's kind of unfair, and it's kind of ridiculous how that works. And the last point that I like that Trump's doing, and this kind of ties into the workforce as well, is I think from what I read somewhere in an article somewhere, that he might try to expand more support for apprenticeships. So we're going to see a lot more people gaining skills for a lot of manual labor work, and for making sure that people are going to be like more willing to go into trade jobs, okay? And I'm actually excited for it because I do have a lot of family that have worked in multiple trades. Some do carpentry, some do electrician, some do plumbing, all those type of things. And I'm excited for that because now people are going to even have more incentive to go into trades and have good paying jobs that they can actually retire from, instead of trying to go into a college and trying to get a degree that may or may not actually benefit them in the end. Plus, that'll lessen the amount of debt that people have because, hey, you're not wasting your time in a fucking college and not getting a like liberal arts degree. Great. Yeah, congratulations. You just saved yourself years of heartache. Good job. And those are the main points why I kind of got my vote swayed over to the side, okay? If we ignore all the identity politics, if we ignore all the things that the people have said about Trump and how he's a bigot, how he's racist, how yada yada yada, you know, bad man. If you look at his actual policies and what he plans on doing, it's for the most part a net positive, okay? I think that it's going to benefit the country a lot more than what people say, and I think it's a great thing that he's going to be in office. Now, I don't want to be all positive about this. I don't want to be all like one-sided here because there are a few things that I am worried about, okay? First one is immigration policies. I really hope to God that he is going to really narrow down the immigration policy, okay? I hope it's just going to be for the undocumented illegal immigrants. If it starts going to the point where he's going to have his office take out anybody that doesn't have a legal citizenship, because I do have a friend who is here legally. He's here on a student visa. he was one of the people that have kind of just like told me he's worried because he feels that he might get deported since he's not a legal citizen of the United States. He's here on a visa. If that's the case, I hope that he narrows down that type of policy so that way it only focuses on the illegals. If anybody gets disproportionately affected from that, that's the big issue. I hope to God that he makes sure to narrow down who is going to be released from this country. Second one is the wars that are currently being fought right now with Ukraine, Russia, and Israel, Palestine. I'm not too sure how he's going to be able to tackle that. I mean, I don't think, from what I've heard, he doesn't really have much of a plan on taking care of it. I mean, he did say he's going to try to talk to Russia to make sure there's a peaceful resolution to that kind of conflict, and he's not going to be sending that much money to Ukraine anymore. But the Israel-Palestine one, I don't know how he's going to tackle it. I don't see how America can help in that situation. I mean, maybe he can put more pressure on Israel to make sure that they're not doing any more stupid fucking tactics, because from what I saw, they're just doing anything and everything to beat Palestinians down. And that's when, next thing you know it, the Palestinians are joining up with the Hamas terrorist groups, and oh, look at that. The terrorist groups are using the people as human shields. So it's like, how the hell is anybody going to win from this? That type of conflict is so clustered and conflicted and varied that it's kind of hard to narrow down how that conflict is going to be resolved. I don't see how America can help with that other than telling Israel, hey, don't put any more fucking bombs in radios and killing civilians. That's all I could really say about it. I mean, if we try to negotiate with Hamas, they're not going to listen. They're still going to use people as human shields and make it sound like they're the good guys, but I don't know. I have no idea. So that one's going to be an interesting one. I don't know how he's going to tackle it. Maybe he'll surprise us, but hey, that's just me. But really, those are the only two concerns that I have, personally. At the very least, I give him most of the benefit of the doubt into making sure that the US in itself will be better. Everybody might hate us if we start doing all the tariffs and stuff on China and other international trades, but look, the country needs to make sure that it stays a superpower. If we keep making it a open access country to everybody else to come in and do their business in, there's nothing gonna be for us. So that's just my belief on that. And so I just want to finish this video off on how I want this country to be better. I want people to be more united. I want to see the United States actually be the United States for once. I want to see people avoid the identity politics, to avoid seeing others as enemies, because every American here, they want the country to be better. I mean, look, there's some crazy people on both sides. There are some people in my family that I've talked to, and I told them that I may be voting for Trump before I went into the ballot, okay? And I made one little criticism. They were talking about how Kamala had all these celebrities at her events endorsing her, and I said, well, yeah, Trump does that too. I mean, he had a fucking comedian make a shitty take on stage, but he was endorsing him. Same thing with all the podcasts and stuff. And the members of my family lit me up like a fucking Christmas tree, okay? They gaslit the absolute shit out of me. And it made me think, like, wait a minute, I'm voting for the same person you are, and you're going to be making me feel like a small little piece of shit? Like, are you serious right now? It seems like a little bit of friendly fire, if you ask me. That's just how I kind of viewed it. It didn't really make any sense. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of Kamala supporters do the exact same thing for people that have a slight difference in their opinion as well. And so, I'm really hoping that the American people are able to just try to find some common ground, or at least gather some common sense into saying, like, the person that voted for the other side still has the decency and still has the belief that they want this country to be better. And I really hope so. I really hope so, and I really hope that we can just make America, at least for the American people, see eye to eye. That's just my belief. Anyway, I wanted to just throw this out there. I spent way too much time trying to make this. So, if you did enjoy it, please, like and subscribe. I will be trying to make videos on a lot of other topics here and there. Most of the time it's not going to be political, but I just wanted to make this message just to get these thoughts out, okay? Anyway, I gotta get ready for work. I'll see everybody on the next one. Talk to you later.